Welcome to Poto Pirate Game Day. I'm your host, Donnie Pennington. I'm joined with Mr. Ballard and Mr. Hackler, and we're going to bring you tonight's district games, talk about some key matchups, talk about some college games, and just talk about a little bit about last week's game. So as we get started, guys, we're into week 8, I believe, of the football season,
Okay.
and we've got some big games coming up this week. I look at it. This is kind of they're big games because we're late in the district, but next week's the big week for a lot of key matchups for this district. So starting with, we've got Broken Bow versus McLean. Broken Bow had a dominating performance last week, as I told you they would, and beat Ada. I won that game, by the way. But so Broken Bow McLean, Mr. Hack, do you want to kind of break that down a little bit? What's your thoughts on that game?
Sure. Man, it was a surprise to just how Broken Bow finished. It was through 3 quarters, kind of what we expected. I just thought, and most of us thought, Ada was going to kind of just pull away at the end. Complete opposite, and it did come down to the best player on the field. Man, Broken Bow's quarterback, he's the real deal, and I thought Broken Bow coaches made some good decisions, some risky. I mean, when you go onside, that can always backfire, and they actually recovered it and scored real quick after that, and so it was a huge momentum shift there as well. So just seeing them end up winning 42-14, and I thought Ada was the best team in the district, so that was a big win for them.
No, definitely.
Just goes to show you how deep our district really is.
It is.
It's just,
Right.
It's almost a pick 'em.
Well, as we were talking earlier, we're the last 2 weeks of districts, and a lot of teams could finish first or fifth. I mean, with two games left, so there's a lot of parity, and a lot of just competition as far as between these games. And we start talking about McLean, Mr. Ballard, and McLean, they're scary
They are
because
scary.
you don't know what you're going to get each and every week, and as far as game plans or what who's going to show up. And they've played some teams really close, and they've got blown out. So a little bit about McLean from what you've seen.
Kind of like we talked about all year. Just they're very athletic and they're scary, but it's just hard for them to put a complete game together throughout the season. And they'll play close with a half, and then they'll beat someone they shouldn't beat, and then when we think they kind of got things going, they just they sputter and kind of get blown out. So, but this game's going to be athlete versus athlete. But Broken Bow, I mean, they've proven it. They're just a very complete team. I still, the Sallisaw Broken Bow game still surprises me a little bit. But, when it comes down to one really, really good athlete, that one athlete can have an off night.
Right.
And so it's just, are you that lucky team when that kid has an off night? Because, he's a real deal.
Off night, and he still put up 30.
Exactly. I mean, like last year, he sprained his ankle before our game, and he was probably 75-80%, and he's still running a 4.3, 4.4 out there in the mud.
Right. And if you remember last year, this was the game where he sprained his ankle.
That's
Yes.
right.
And McLean upset them, and that was kind of they started reeling, and they ended up not making the playoffs.
Right.
So it was the last 2 games of the year, same kind of deal.
Well,
But
anything
even
can happen.
80%, he's scary.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
No, he's a great athlete, as we've talked about throughout the last few weeks. So takes us game 2, number 7, Ada versus Glenpool. Unfortunately, Ada is just, I think their athletes and just their dominance, and they had a bad week last week. I think it's going to be very tough with Glenpool, so.
I think this week we're going to really find out what Ada's made of. I'm not saying Glenpool's going to beat Ada, but I'm telling you, after a loss, you really kind of see, kind of like Sallisaw did last night, with the big win, just shutting out Stillwell. We're going to find what this team's made out to be, really. And Glenpool is that scary team too. They got a couple kids like we talked about. I would seriously put Ada on upset alert. Again, I'm not saying they're going to lose to Glenpool, but this is a tricky situation because next week's a big week for Ada as well.
Yeah.
And
So sometimes you
see,
see both. Sometimes you see them like they're taking the anger out on the team from taking a bad loss, and then the next week just come out and hammer somebody. But sometimes they're not over it yet, and then they maybe look past somebody.
Yep. Right.
This is really going to test their coaches this week to make
Yeah.
sure those kids are up and ready and not overlooking Glenpool.
And I know Coach A, he's a big compliment of their coaching staff. He thinks their coaching staff's really, really good.
Yes.
Ada.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Before we jump to the Hilldale or Poto at Hilldale game, let's talk a little bit about last week's game with Salisal. You know, Salisal went out. They played last night. They beat Stillwell 42-0. Probably not a revenge game, but after coming down to Poto and getting it handed to
Taking
them
that-
and
taking that
taking a
anger out on
beating.
'em.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, you guys last week at the game Friday night. Tell us a little bit what you saw.
Well, kind of like my prediction, I thought it was going to be a really close game, and honestly, the score did not. The score did them justice because we outplayed them on all three phases of the game. I felt it felt a little bit like last year. We dominated the entire game. We just couldn't score last year. This year, in the pouring down rain, you know, Coach Hayes, he just found ways to win and you know, busted out a long run and then a slant to Goot. I mean, just right in the hands, and it just stuck to him like glue. And you know, which was impressive to me because that's one of the few games I've ever been in my entire life, either coaching, playing, or just as an admin, that it rained from kickoff to the end.
Right.
Like, it never stopped raining.
Yes.
And you know, one thing about our kids has that culture, that tradition that's ingrained in them, and Coach Hayes has done a good job of continue that culture. Our kids did not care if it was raining, snowing, sleeting. It did not matter. Our kids, they come to play. And honestly, the worst conditions, our kids just built to play in it. And I don't know if Salisal, you know, from the opening kickoff, it did not look like Salisal wanted to be there. And our kids they stuck it to them, and they just played like dogs, just straight up dogs.
Go ahead, Coach.
Oh. And I think that's what you're speaking of culture and program. That's kind of that toughness factor.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it doesn't matter what you face, because you can't control. It's
No.
control what you can control. And man, from the start, you could just tell we were really into it. Kind of like you said, kind of the body language of Southall is like, you know, it's pouring down rain, and we were loving every minute. And
Well, even
And
in
we took-
warm-ups,
right,
like Southall
They
came
got
out
out
and they stayed for a minute or two, it
5,
seemed
yeah.
like, and they were out. I mean, our kids were out in it, and they were eating it up.
Yep.
Going to what you say.
No, I think you come off, you know, last year's my first Salisal Poto football game and at Salisal, and you know, it had so many, just like the last week, had so many key implications of the district, and we couldn't score. You could see what in our face, the frustration that we just lost to Salisal.
Yep.
And, you know, I think those kids returning this year was going to make sure that wasn't going to happen again. And
Good
our
leadership.
coaching staff had it ready, had the kids ready, and it didn't matter what type of weather we were playing in. We were going to be ready to play, and that's just hats off to our coaching staff having them ready.
And Southall's a dang good team, guys. I mean,
They're
it's-
very
They
good.
are.
I mean,
No,
it has to-
absolutely.
they're well coached. They're
Yep.
fundamentally sound.
Well,
Um,
they have a win versus Broken Bow, who,
I mean,
who right now is the number one team in the
Absolutely.
district. You know, so
talented. Yep.
you know, very very good team. And so, like I said, it was exciting to see. I was unfortunately I had to be gone, but I was following on my phone, and it was exciting to see just score after score.
I,
You know,
I was the only one there.
And
I mean,
I will add,
you know, Mississippi State.
I will add, we have won 8 out of the last 9 in the series of football. Just throw that out there.
8 out.
So last year was the only year out of 9, the last 9
Oh.
that Salisal actually came out on the winners.
Well, it
So-
sounds like they've got their one, so we've got eight in a row coming, right?
Yep, we
That's
got
how
8
it
in a row.
works.
Eight
So,
more to
Yep.
come.
all right, so before we go on, we're going to go to our commercial break with Mitchell Reynolds. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back to Poto Pirate Network. We're about to break down last week's picks. As we were just discussing on break,
Go ahead. Yep.
5-2 last week. I did pick the Ada game, by the way, of Broken Bow winning, as you guys told me that wouldn't happen.
That was the difference.
All right.
We need to check these sports betting things with the NBA. I mean, does he have some inside
I have
information we
insider
don't know
information
about?
going
Was
on.
someone hurt?
It's like the NBA. I've got an official in my
Oh my
pocket,
gosh.
right? So as we go into it, I'm with 16-6 on the season. Ballard's 14-8. Hackler's 4-3, which just a little bit over 500. It's like his coaching record. Just kidding, Mr. Hack. Anyway, as we go into these games, let's go ahead and break it down. Our first game of the night that we're gonna pick is Broken Bow versus McLean. I'll go first, so you guys can use my predictions in case you need help. Definitely, I'm taking Broken Bow in this situation. So, go ahead.
I'm with you. Broken Bow is gonna. They know how big this game is, and they know they got us coming next week, and it could be for all the marbles. So I think they're going to be locked and ready. They will not overlook McLean. I think Broken Bow will clean it up.
And I do agree with that. And I think McLean, there's no chance of them making the playoffs,
Yep.
so I think that adds to it too. I don't think they're going to put up much of a fight there.
No, absolutely. All right, so that takes us to number 7, Ada versus Glenpool. I'm going to go with Ada here as well. I took Glenpool last week thinking they could knock off McLean, and it was close. But unfortunately, I think Glenpool's first win is going to come next week when they go to Stillwell. So I'm going to take Ada this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ada as well. Again, upset alert, but I mean, if all goes to what it's supposed to be, Ada will clean house too.
I agree with that. I think it'll end up being probably 3 or 4 scores.
Now, we couldn't get lucky enough to go ahead and have Glenpool beat them. Like, just get P. Warner's first win.
Yes.
That'd be great.
That would help us out.
Fairy tale there.
Coach Warner, if you're listening, we could use that dub right now. That'd help us out. And as you can see, they're going along with all my predictions, so they can.
Those two are pretty.
Come on.
We're going to go ahead and jump to the college ranks. This is a big game. I got number 9 Vanderbilt at number 20 Texas. Right now, Manning's supposed to start practice on Wednesday. They really haven't come out. I don't know if he did practice. He was on, concussion protocol. So, what do you got on this one, Mr. Ballard?
Vanderbilt's got to lose. It's been a fun ride, fun Cinderella ride, but just being an OU guy, I hate Texas more than anything. But we really need Texas to go ahead and give them their first loss and get that started to kind of get some parity back in the SEC, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Texas. Even with the backup quarterback.
I'm going to stay with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt beat Missouri last week. And
told you it was going to happen.
It was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt beat Missouri, and I need Texas to stay out of the top 12, so that way Missouri maybe have a chance to still come up through the ranks. So I'm going to take Vanderbilt this week.
I'm going to go Texas. I got to see Texas firsthand last week.
You did. Mississippi
State blew it. They were up 38-21
Front row
going
seats.
in the fourth quarter. But I was impressed with Arch Manning. The first half, Arch Manning looked awful. And he came out in the second half and really, really played well. And then they knocked him out first overtime with a concussion.
Right.
So he pretty much played the whole game. That backup quarterback came in and threw a touchdown. Pretty much second play, he was in the game. But I'm sure he's talented as well if he does have to go. But I think at Texas and their defense is pretty solid. I know they gave up 38 last week, but the talent level is better. So I'm going to go with Texas.
All right. That takes us to number 18, Oklahoma, at number 14, Tennessee. You know, Heupel is there. Everyone's trying to recruit him right now to leave Tennessee and just sign that extension. So I'm going with Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins this at home. They beat Oklahoma, takes Oklahoma's chances for any playoffs. Sorry, guys, being Oklahoma guys, but I'm going to go with Tennessee on this game.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma by 3. I know it's at Tennessee. We've done it before. Done it with Baker. I think Mateer. When you got a new quarterback coming in the system like Mateer, new offense coordinator, it does take time. I know Mateer started off, with his hair on fire, had the surgery, and credit to Mateer, he's never had an excuse. He's never said anything about his thumb. it just takes time when you don't practice for a couple weeks to get back in rhythm.
Right.
And then he talks about where his eyes are. It's not his physical build, even though there have been a couple overthrows here and there. But he still spins it well and puts it in places and it makes those NFL throws. But Tennessee's got the worst defense in the SEC.
No, I agree.
But they got one of the best offenses, so it's going to be strength against strength. They'll use defense and Tennessee's offense. In my opinion, just being a football coach, defense travels, and so if it, both coaches, like you said, elimination game. Venables he's not necessarily on the hot seat, but he's taking some heat. I think all these coaching vacancies is helping Venables out a lot because there's not enough coaches, good coaches, quality
Right.
coaches, to replace all these open, powerhouses. So I definitely think he's going to get a free pass, but he knows his back's against the wall, and those kids know that too.
Right.
And they're also bringing in some unbelievable recruiting.
Right.
And so, but I got OU by 3.
The way it's going, they could just do head coach swaps. As many
Yeah.
teams and big name schools. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, let's just trade.
Not
But,
LSU.
yeah, I don't think anybody's going to
Governor kind of put that. Yeah.
True.
$100 million worth of buyouts here
Exactly.
lately.
I think y'all know where I'm going on this. You said Oklahoma guys. It's
Boomer.
not definitely not Rocky
Oh.
Top, but I think Heupel has a little extra motivation anytime he goes against OU. Getting passed up, getting
Mhm.
let go as offense coordinator. As he's the one that brought him that last national championship 25 years ago now. But he did it last year. Came in there, and how about they end up winning that game?
It was close.
It's pretty
It was close.
Yeah.
But I think Tennessee at home. I mean, that is a tough place. That's one of the best home field environments.
Oh, over
You watch that
100,000.
game.
Night game.
So I do agree with you. OU definitely defense is way better, but Mateer has been struggling. There's no doubt he's a good quarterback. It's not, but I think Tennessee will probably pull out a close one here. Maybe a touchdown, about 7 points.
I know one thing, Heupel. I know him personally. His mom actually was one of my teachers there in our TLE several years ago. He's gonna have a heart attack. He needs to lose some weight. Under that much pressure, that dude. I mean,
He's not in his playing shape.
No, he
he's,
is not.
no.
He's in that Andy Reid mode with
Yeah.
nothing but football and eating.
Hey,
Yeah.
Andy survived it all this
That's
time.
right.
so-
Look at
He
Andy.
has. He
Yeah.
has.
It's what coaching does to you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
a lot of
stress.
fast food.
A lot of
Yes.
a lot of McDonald's and stress.
That takes us to our last collegiate game, number 12 Notre Dame at Boston College. Mr. Hack, I'm going to let you start this one so you don't take my pick.
This is probably the easiest one, in my opinion. Now, I'll be honest, Boston College, I'm not 100% sure on them, but Notre Dame.
Did you not do your research
schedule,
for this?
I
this
did
scheduled
not. I
meeting?
failed on this one.
Oh.
All the rest of them I did. But Notre Dame, every year it's like they have one really tough non-conference game, and it seems like they lose it, and then usually make a run the table after
Mhm.
that, or in this case they lost 2 non-conference games, which they were both pretty tough, but their schedule is pretty easy for the most part. I think they are rolling a little bit. I think they'll probably win big here by probably 3 scores.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Ballard.
Kind of same thing as Glenpool and Ada. I'm putting Notre Dame on upset alert. Notre Dame's the best team, but there are a lot of rumors swirling around about Marcus Freeman being up for that LSU job, kind of following his predecessor, Brian Kelly there. I don't know if there's a trend or anything. I'm rooting for Boston College, but I'm gonna pick Notre Dame.
All right. So I see the upset. It's kind of why I picked this game. I felt like
That's what it is. He
Yeah,
handpicked
he
it.
handpicked this game.
Yes. Truth.
truth. It is true. I do pick
He
the
has some
games,
inside
and
information.
Yes.
I do feel Boston College is going to get the upset. I think with everything going on and all the rumors going on and the vacancies and Notre Dame already having a couple losses, I feel that this is going to be their take them out of the playoffs type situation here. And so I'm taking Boston College. It's going to be a close game, but I do have Boston College.
I kind of
winning
hope
this
you're
game.
right, low key. Kind of hope
So,
you're right.
I mean, according to my records, if you're betting on sports,
Yeah.
go with me.
According
Okay?
to official insider.
All right, official insight. That takes us to our featured game. We've got Poto at Hilldale, number 6 Poto. You know, we were talking about these rankings with we're ranked a little higher than Ada, and Ada came here and beat us, but Ada's had the loss last week against Salisaw, and it's at the end of the day. Um, I'm sorry, Ada at
Broken
Broken
Bow.
Bow.
Broken Bow.
Lost at Broken Bow. At the end of the day, we've seen this in college football rankings. It matters what you do at the end, not always what you
No
do at
doubt.
the beginning. And so as far as that ranking, I think it's correct. I think if we played Ada again, it'd be a different game. They were hot that day, and we just didn't come out and play as well as we have in the last couple games. So, I'm excited to see this game. I am a little nervous, not gonna lie. Hilldale came here last year and put a thumping on us, at home, and Hilldale is on the verge. They went out and have a couple things happen. They're in the playoffs, and so and they know that, and really they have nothing to lose in this game, meaning they can throw it all out there because they don't have to play conservative. They can take some chances. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some onside kicks. I wouldn't be surprised to see some trickery plays. I mean, I really think Hilldale is going to come out and do some things that they haven't done all season to take some chances here.
This is their last chance. I mean, it's
and it is honestly that if they went out, they're in because that means they beat us.
Right.
So they'll have that tiebreaker. Well, depending on the last game.
Yeah,
Yes.
same
I'm sorry.
last
We
game.
could still with Broken
Some
Bow.
of
But
these-
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have to have some things happen.
They
If they
do.
beat us,
We'd
we have to
Broken
lose
Bow.
to Broken
Yes.
Bow.
But there's still hope for them, and they'll be going against McLean that last game.
Correct.
They got to be feeling pretty good about that. So, like you said, I think they're going to put everything, and they had the MVP of the district returning. He's unreal.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
The quarterback's really good. He down here right at Coster Stadium last year, he was throwing. Perfect throw. Just on the money. I do think it's one of those. Kind of like the district's been this year. I think we're going to have to score a lot of points.
Right.
So hopefully the offense is rolling. Not that our defense isn't good. It's just they have so many weapons, especially that one on the perimeter there. It's tough to match up. So I feel good about it, but it's definitely kind of a scary, almost one of those trap games because you're looking ahead to Broken Bow.
Yep.
You're thinking, hey, we can still win the district, and you got to take care of business tonight for sure.
No, and that's this Hilldale game reminds me a little bit of Stillwell.
Yes.
We kind of
Right in front
went
of
on
Ada.
cruise control right before
Yeah.
Ada.
But with a whole
And
lot worse defense.
With a whole lot worse defense, and so this, like I said, this game scares me a little bit just based on what we've seen in the past.
Oh,
So, Poto's playing really well right now. You go back, look at, like I said, the Salisaw game. Kids are ready. Defense is looking good. I think the first 1 to 30 is going to win this game. I really do. I think whoever scores 30 points is going to win this game. I don't think. I think one of their defenses is going to show up, and we'll hopefully it's ours. That's the plan.
Well, here's the deal. You look at Hilldale scores. I think the lowest they scored was 20 at Broken Bow, but everything else has been around 30 or above 30. And so Hilldale has an explosive offense. We got, I think, statistically the best defense in 4A. So again, strength on strength. I still think Hilldale will score their points. But I'm picking this score to be 42-28 Poto. I think Hilldale will get some points, unfortunately. Hope I'm wrong. Hope we get a shutout. But just looking at the numbers throughout, 8 weeks now, it's trending that way. But kind of like you alluded to, we're hitting on all cylinders right now. I think our kids will be ready to play. They know there's a lot of scenarios out there, but in the grand scheme of things, they really control their own destiny. We come out and take care of business tonight, and we get that win in week 10. There's just no telling what's going to happen in this district, and so there's a lot to play for. But I think Coach Hayes has our kids offensively, defensively, and special teams playing really, really well at the right time.
right, definitely.
And I think we're the better team. So
Definitely.
Absolutely.
it's one of those that you go into it. That's where you want to play clean football. You don't want to turn the ball over. You don't want to have a lot of penalties. Like if
We've been really good at that lately.
we have
turnover battle.
and the growth from that, even penalties. The growth from that from the beginning of the season, I think that's been the most important thing.
Yes.
Like we have really gotten so much better with penalties and turnovers as the season's gone on. Just taking care of the football. And that's probably just being more comfortable with the offense. Anytime you bring in a new offense and getting That's tough for high school, especially. It's not like your full time job like college and pro, and,
Yep.
and learning it. So I think we're going to show up and play well like we have been. I think it's pretty similar. I'm going to go with 35-24. I wish we could get our 15, but I think they're still good enough offensively to give us some problems. 35-24, the good guys.
All right. So looking at everything, here's what worries me with Poto. You come off a big win, Salisal, very emotional,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got Broken Bow at the end, and so you try to keep these kids focused, going, hey guys, we've got to win this game, and I know Coach Hayes and Coach Odom's got that going on, but in their minds it scares me.
Yep.
I still do feel Poto's going to win this game. I think it's going to be in the mid 30s like you, and I think we win 35-17. But it's going to be a great game. And as we talked about earlier, there are so many scenarios with districts. I was going through this, and we could be anywhere from out to fourth to third to second or winning it,
Yes.
all with 2 games left.
Yep.
And so we're going to know after this week pretty much we're going to break down just a
Yep.
couple scenarios left and situations left to see where we're going to fall. The worry is we don't want to be in that 3 and 4. Not that we won't be ready to play, but from looking at stats and looking at numbers, Cushing's a real deal, and our four seeds going to Cushing, out of our district, and that's a tough game. And our 3 seed will end up probably being at Grove. They play Fort Gibson, I believe, or Fort Gibson plays Cushing tonight, I believe it is. But those 2 top teams are pretty good,
Yep.
and I think if you can stay away from those, that first round is going to be a lot simpler. So I think winning this game and winning next week really puts us in a driver's
Yep.
seat to get where we want to be.
And I will say, I think it's known across 4A that ours is, I think, proven to be the toughest district. I mean,
Yes.
rankings.
Deepest.
You really don't know until you get to the playoffs to see how you do.
Right.
But I mean, rankings wise, it looks like our district. So I think that's what's going for us. I think the 3 and 4 seed out of our district will still be, even though it's really difficult to go on the road against their 1 or 2.
Can you imagine having
I
that
think we
matchup?
compete. Oh,
Anybody that matches up against ours.
yeah.
It reminds me a couple years when all 4 of our teams made it to the quarterfinals.
Yep. All won the first round.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so kind of reminds me a lot of that, and I think it'd be a bad matchup for anybody that matches up with our district. But it's very rare do you see
Yes.
in week 9 you could be first
Don't
or
know, yeah.
last. I mean, it's
Right.
just,
Win, you're in. That's the way right now for Poto.
That's
If
it.
we win tonight, we're in. And
This
then
game's
it
the
kind of takes
biggest
that
game of the
extra
year.
pressure
Yep.
off.
Right. Yeah, we control our own destiny.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about anybody else.
Nope.
We just have to worry about ourselves and win. That's it.
Yep.
It's that simple. I wish it was that easy.
no, just,
Right.
So
just win you're in, baby.
exactly.
That's it.
Just win, Coach Hayes. Come on.
Well, hey, thank you for joining us. Hope to see you at tonight's game. If not, you'll be able to catch it live on huddlefan.com, just Poto, Oklahoma. You'll be able to watch the game there. We'll talk to you guys next week. Appreciate you joining us.
Go Pirates.